So I figured I had a last minute cancellation for a client at 5 and I was like, oh, I'm going to go live. So yeah. Okay. So let me tell you guys what happened. There was, okay, so I don't know, did you guys see this on your For You page? So there's some people that are new on my, you know, like we're on TikTok, it's starting to show us new content, like random new people on our For You page. Oh, I'm glad it was, I was so nervous. Okay, so one girl made a video of her eating garlic. And she says, I start my morning with 3 garlics. And then somebody kind of commented and they're like, this girl that I actually follow that girl, and she's a little like rough around the edges, you know, like she's a say it like it is kind of person. And she corrected the girl that was eating garlic. She's like, garlic is not an anti-inflammatory. Garlic has anti-inflammatory properties. So she was kind of like judging her a little bit, like she was going like that, right? So that's the first stitch. So she took the video and the first stitch is her kind of like, I call people judgy McJudgersons, which I am sometimes too, right? We judge. There's a level of like, right? Thank you, Relax. I appreciate that. It's me again. I'm back. Hi, Liam. You did say Dean Martin. All right. So this is not the issue. The issue is the second girl that stitched. Guys, it was mean. Okay, see you later, Relax. Yeah, it was mean. It was really, really mean. I was like, oh, she's ripping her apart. So it's a one holistic person. She's I forgot what they're called, an herbalist. And then there was another herbalist that ripped her apart. And she was saying like, you're insecure. I hate you, da-da-da. Now, I want to tell you guys, when I make videos, like, Cece, you know, I don't know if any of you guys are content creators. Like if you make a video on TikTok, you're looking at yourself. Like right now, I'm reading your comments like this, but if I look up, I'm looking into my eyes. So I am a self-projection coach. Like from everything that I do, the main work that I do with people, which by the way, side note, I told you guys that I'm taking a break on writing a book. I'm already started on my next. I didn't even publish the book yet, and I'm already started on my next book. I started today. I was like, I need to talk about this. So, give me a second. You know what I'll do? I'll show you guys. I don't know how to start this video. This is like my 99th take. Okay, so this I see. I made it today. I'm wearing the same clothes. I just made it. So I'll skip through my part because I can't rewatch my videos. I can make them, I can film them, but if I'm going to rewatch them, the only time I watch them is when I edit them. But if I hear my voice, I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. Okay, hold on. Oh. I don't know how to start this video. Hold on. How do I fast forward? It's not fast forwarding. So I ignored it. Okay. Okay. When I point the finger at someone, the other 3 fingers are pointing at me. What we feel about the outside world is a reflection of our inside world. So I made it very clear, right? Okay, yes. Let me show you the video.
Educate her. I'm so tired of everybody. No, you're just insecure and you're fucking bitter.
It's not over. There's actually a lot more.
Acting like you're better, you're a fucked herbalist. You are a fucking piece of shit herbalist if you do that shit. There's no room in this.
Side note. Okay, before you're watching, because I wish I would have said this in the thing. I want you guys to understand. She's an herbalist. She's an herbalist. She's like, you're a piece of shit herbalist. And she's looking at herself. Now, I want you guys to watch her eyes when she's saying, now she's angry. Okay, I'll tell you guys what happened. Okay, so she's angry because there's an herbalist. Okay, so a girl was eating, what's it called? She was eating garlic. She was eating garlic and she's like, it's anti-inflammatory. And the herbalist stitched her and she went like this. It's not anti-inflammatory. It has anti-inflammatory properties. She's like, this drives me nuts. All these people are saying all this stuff about it, but herbs, you have to be careful of what you think. It's not a full anti-inflammatory. It has properties. You have to be careful. So this herbalist was she's rough though. I follow her. She's a little bit rough, but I'm going to be honest. I kind of like her because she's like really raw and honest. But her little eye roll was uncalled for, like little judgy McJudgerson. But her video, and I watched it, and her video, she stitched that video. And instead of saying, hey, that's not nice, you shouldn't be doing, like, that's not very kind. Hey, let's educate people. This instead,
Fucking piece of shit herbalist.
oh, by the way, she called her a bully. I didn't pin that part. She's like, you're a fucking bully. Look who's saying that.
Shit. There's no room in this community for that. You're supposed to be a healer. You're supposed to teach people how to fucking heal their body.
Look where she says that. You're supposed to teach people how to heal their bodies. Look where she looks. Look where she looks.
How to feel better about themselves. How to feel.
I feel like she just literally, like, the self-projection is all over. She's looking at herself going, you're supposed to teach people how to heal, how to feel better about their bodies. She's literally talking to herself. This is what I mean by self-projection. I don't think she saw my video.
Live. Maybe you need some fucking healing. I can't stand people like you.
Look how she's looking at herself. I can't stand people like you. Do you know how I see it? This breaks my heart. Look at my face. It breaks my heart because she's looking at herself in the camera saying, I can't stand people like you. And it hurts me because I'm like, what makes you hate yourself? You hate yourself. There is no way that somebody who does not hate themselves can talk about somebody else like that. I could never look at somebody. Do you know that I have people that hate my guts? And they've actually alienated me from my family. And if I saw them face to face, I'm going to be honest, I have boundaries now that they're not allowed in my life. But I can never say that about them. Because I look at them and I see a lot of beauty in them. And a lot of kindness. Big, huge beauty and kindness and everything. Now, there are some things that bug me, but that's my projections. So look, she is looking into her own eyes. So if you don't know what self-projection is.
Healing. I can't stand people like you. But I also feel bad for people like you because you will stay stunted until you wake the fuck up and realize how wrong you were and actually take accountability and grow. And most importantly,
she's talking to herself.
Most important thing that I hope that you get from this message, and you probably won't, is to do better.
But you probably won't. The most important thing that you to get for this message, but you probably won't, is to do better. This is why I'm writing my book. Do you know how? No, so I don't ignore. You do you. Don't give her. No, she's not talking about me. I made this video. User. So here's what I do. So user 55, here's what I do. My whole platform and everything that I do is, and since I'm little, I used to call people out really mean. Okay. Like, not in a good way. I would be like, dude, you're self-projecting. Like, I used to be mean. So what I do now is I call you out, but in a more, hey, look, self-awareness. We're all self-projecting. We're all self-projecting all the time. Constant self-projection. We cannot stop self-projecting. But do you imagine? Okay, so imagine, you know how it would be amazing? I don't want to hear.
Stunted.
Okay. If she looked at this, if she saw this video, Now, she may get angry at this video, and that she will be. She will be. When she sees this video, because I didn't block her. I did not block her. And I'm kind of defending somebody because she was attacking a person that I respect and follow. So I was like, whoa, this is not kind. And I would have liked it that somebody stood up for me. So I thought about, why am I making this video? I was like, number one, I would have really liked it if somebody was online, full blown, calling me a piece of shit coach and a this and a that. If somebody was saying this to me, it would be nice if somebody defended me and said, hey, wait, that's not okay. That's not cool. Number one. Number two, I'm not going to bash. I did not bash and attack her. If anything, I feel really bad that she feels like this, because I know this feeling. I used to feel like her. I used to fucking hate people and be like, fuck her, fuck this. But hurt people. Like, I was so wounded inside, and I hated myself so much that I could full blown attack. Thank goodness I did not have a TikTok 10 years ago, because I would have been having to apologize every week for how, do you know what I mean? Thank you, Angelica. So the reason I'm giving this my energy, and I think it's important to call out people who are mean, but without being mean back. So she thinks that she's doing good work. She's calling out, she calls a bully. She's calling out somebody that's judgy. So she thinks, but look what she's doing. The bully, oh, so cute. Thanks, user. That was cute. I felt like, if she uses the word people like that, would it have been more acceptable and less projection? No, 100% projection. 100% projection. It's not people like that. Even if she says piece of shit, everything. Okay, so in this video, if you go watch the video, I explain that if I see a wall, it doesn't make me a wall. The difference between self-projection is emotion versus fact. Facts are not self-projections. Emotions are self-projections. So if I see a pedophile, does that make me a pedophile? No. What is a fact? What is factual? What is I don't even want to say the word. What is a pedo? Okay. What is it? Well, we know, right? We know the general aspect of it. So if I see one and I'm like, hey, there's a pedo, it doesn't make me a pedo. Just like if I see a wall, it doesn't make me a wall. That's a fact. Fact is, the actions of that makes this person a pedo. But how do I feel? So for me, I think they are disgusting. Guess what? Sometimes I feel disgusting. Sometimes I do. I can wake up, especially after I eat too much. Like I overeat. And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh God, I feel so disgusting. So I'm self-projecting because it's coming from my brain. The feeling of disgust, I know that feeling. That's myself. So the words that I use to describe someone else, that the emotion behind it is the self-projection. I can't stand, but if I hate them, do I hate myself sometimes? Yeah. Once in a while, I'll do some self-loathing. And it happens. It doesn't mean I'm like that all the time, but once in a while I do. So it's not about not self-projecting. It's about learning what to do when we're self-projecting. So if she would have looked in the mirror and said everything that she has to say to this person and looked in the mirror, or actually she made a video. So she's looking at herself in the video. If she would have stopped, instead of pressing post, just self-reflect and look at the video and go, holy shit, I gotta fucking work on this. So she's calling her a bully. That means that she thinks she's a bully. Maybe she bullies herself. Guarantee she bullies herself. Doesn't mean that she bullies other people. Well, she kind of does. Isn't that weird? She's calling the other girl a bully, yet she called her a fucking piece of shit. I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at a bully and saying you fucking piece of shit, I'm being a bully. That's the definition of self-projection. I'm glad it resonated. I'm glad you got that, Angelica. So that's it. It's okay though, Erica. And remember, the healing that we have to do is just that everything that you're feeling towards other people, everything you're about to say with an emotion attached to it is coming from your heart, from your brain, from you. So you're like, that fucking piece of shit. Whoa. What is coming? Why is that coming out of you? So if you feel that angry, go look in the mirror and say that fucking piece of shit. And you're going to go, I don't want anybody to say that to me. I shouldn't be saying that to me. But isn't it true, all of us, that we call ourselves stupid all the time? Oh my God, I'm so stupid. I'm such an idiot. I'm so fucking stupid. Why did I do that? Why did I miss the turn? I was driving. I heard somebody say that last week. I missed the turn. Oh, I'm such a fucking idiot. I'm like, whoa. Because you missed a turn, you're a fucking idiot? I was like, do you hear how you talk to yourself? That's so fucked up. Would you say that to somebody if you're driving in the car and they miss a turn? Oh, you fucking idiot. Like, whoa. Some people would say that. So self-projection is about how you treat others and how you treat yourself. Like the feeling of it, the feeling, the emotion. Okay? And we're not responsible for other people's actions and words. Never are we responsible. I wrote something down today, and I put it in my conclusion of my book, but I'm going to tell you guys. I think I tell you guys too much, but whatever. The conclusion I wrote was, when we try to understand people that abuse us, you know, like narcissists and everything, and we're trying to figure them out, if you do end up figuring them out, you become like them. So it's okay that you don't figure them out. Like an abuser that's completely abusive and abused you in the relationship for years and years and treated you like shit, and you're like, I can't understand like why people do that. Why would he do that to me? Don't try to. Because if you try to understand, and then you're going to kind of become like, you don't want to put that. Don't own other people's projections. And some people's self-projections become actions, and they now, that's not on you. But this video, like, it's, if you guys don't understand, if you want to understand, just go watch the video. I'm telling you, it's really, when I saw this and I was like, oh, I'm not going to make a video. I literally wrote not interested on the video. And when it appeared for the third time in my For You page, I was like, okay, I got to say something, because this is out of control. This is mean. It's mean. And here's the fact, okay? When you see somebody getting bullied, okay? You see a bully, and they're really acting out and they're bullying someone else, okay? Like this. So now think about it this way. We see this girl totally attacking, calling her, what did she say again?
How to feel better about themselves.
There's actually a lot more. Wait.
Acting like you're better, you're a fucked herbalist. You are a fucking piece of shit herbalist.
Okay, you're a fucking piece of shit. So when you see someone else and somebody's saying, you're a fucking piece of shit, I don't care if it's herbalist, coach, human being, whatever it is, you're a fucking piece of shit. Imagine saying that to yourself in the mirror. Imagine feeling like that about yourself, or feeling like that about others. It's a self-projection of ourselves, because we cannot feel about another what we don't feel a little bit about ourselves. It's impossible. It's coming from us. And it's so crazy that some people don't see that, because I'm like, you're the one saying it. How is it not coming from you? Like a projector on the screen. When you go to the cinema and you're watching a movie, the movie is not on the screen. The movie is from the projector. Just, we are the projector. So if you are saying something, it is coming from your mouth and your emotions. And nobody has the emotions that you have. You and I, we could be millions of people in a room. Okay, we're 100 people here on the live, 103 people. Not one single person of us on this live have the same emotions. All of us have different emotions. So whatever we're saying is based on our past, on our perceptions, on how we perceive life. Some people hear, have a very strong sense of taste. Some people see very well. Some people have very like empathy, emotion. Some people don't. Like everybody's different. So self-projections are different for everybody, and we can't change that, but we can own it. We can own it. We can look in the mirror and say, instead of pressing like this and go post, when you are bashing someone, you could just go, okay, hold on. Why do I feel like that about myself? What the fuck makes me feel like that? How the fuck is this okay? Especially on TikTok. Do you know what I mean? I feel like this is Facebook vibes. No offense to Facebook. I'm okay on Facebook, but I have to tell you, every time I go on Facebook, I have a moderator, and once in a while I click on the moderator. Like I can click on a whole thing that says hidden. So Facebook moderates and blocks all the words. When I click, I have to be mentally ready, and I'm really happy that Facebook has this option. It's new. So I go on and I click on Facebook, and then I click on hidden comments. Ooh boy. One day I should make a video about that. I think you guys would freak out. Hidden comments on Facebook. Would you guys watch that? I feel like maybe not on, I'll put it on my stories or something. The hidden comments on Facebook. And I always give myself like a day, a month to go and then block the people that are writing that. So it automatically filters there. So holy shit. This is Facebook vibes. Like, this is Facebook. Do you know on TikTok, I posted a video that got 1.8 million views like a month ago. Okay, 1.8. I have a few million views. I have maybe about 5 or 6 videos that have over 1 million. One of them is like 2 million. Do you know, on the 1.8 million views, I can't find negative comments? I can't find any. I'm like once in a while they're like bullshit. And I was like, oh, thousands of comments. I can't find it. It's TikTok. It's like beautiful on here. Now there's once in a while, there'll be a little person that comes in that's like self-projecting and angry. And I'm like, oh, and then I feel really bad because I know that they're sitting in their basement with no sunlight, no vitamin D that has not entered, and they're completely stuck, and they're like, and they're like really angry at me because something happened in their own life and they don't have a lot of self-love, so they're taking it out on me. TikTok is very rare. It's once in a while. But Facebook is like every 5 comments. Like it's a massive, and once in a while there's some that get in, and they're all trolls. They are. But I have to tell you guys, it's tough. It's tough. So shout out to TikTok for the love that, man, like look, I'm telling you guys, I'll show you. Okay, on my page, look at this. I can't find any.
You know someone that...
No, look at this. 9,000, okay, over 9,000 comments. 9,000 comments, nothing. Look, oh my God, light bulb, your daughter validated me, love you. Oh my God, this is great, you helped. Oh my God, hearts. This is all. Do you know how nice it is on TikTok? I love it. It's like, I'm like, if I feel like I want to be happy, I'm just like, let me go on TikTok. But that's why today I was nervous. Because I was like, so I feel like when I see bullying on TikTok, I'm like, whoa, go back to Facebook. Get that we can be triggered. We have an emotional response. It takes self-control. Yes. Yeah, gray matter, it does. But you have to understand also, if you're face to face with someone, you have to master self-control. That is, yes, okay. But if you're making a video, the self-control is the post. Before you post videos, just make sure, is it kind? And recently I've realized the actions, not just actions that matter, but intention. Responsibility. Let's talk about emotional responsibility. Not all hurt people emotionally project. Yes, Callie. All hurt people. All. Do you know why? Some hurt people hurt themselves. And I heard somebody say that. They're like, no, hurt people don't hurt people. I'm like, yep. They don't consider themselves a people. Because some people are so hurt that they'll never hurt anybody else. They'll never hurt a fly. You ever heard that? You wouldn't hurt a fly. No, but man, do they fucking hurt themselves. And I know quite a few people like that they will be really mean to themselves. Or they'll allow these really toxic freaking relationships that come in. And I knew this one girl who wouldn't hurt a fly. Oh my God, a little angel. I see her and I was like, one of the kindest souls that I've ever seen. And I see her in positions and she really can be mean to herself. And she takes, people are like, fuck you, and she just takes it. And I realized, I was like, hurt people. It's such a strong, powerful thing, because sometimes if you are that hurt, you will hurt yourself. Now, healed people don't hurt people. So if you are hurt, but you're on the healing journey, you don't want to hurt people, right? So if you're hurt, like I'm a hurt person, but I'm on the healing journey, which most of us are that are on here, right? We're on the healing journey. We're trying to do our best to like be kinder people to ourselves and to others. So healed people don't hurt people. But if you are hurt without healing and you have no healing whatsoever, you're going to hurt other people. So it's tricky with the words, but anyways, my opinion there. If two people interacting are caught up in their emotions, how do they regain clarity in the moment? For me, okay, so if you are with somebody and you're triggered, like each of you are triggered, unfortunately, we can't control the other person, but you can try if you guys want to discuss this. But if you're both triggered, the key is to use your senses. So I'll explain to you how the brain waves work when we're triggered. So every day we function on beta brainwaves as adults. Okay. Children is something else. They have theta brainwaves. Okay. But as soon as you become over the age of 7, you start only after that getting like beta brainwaves. And the older you get, you're in low to mid beta. So right now, if I were to ask you to quiz you right now, you kind of go on mid beta of what I'm saying. If you're not really listening to what I'm saying, you're on low beta. You're kind of like, oh, look, her hair is blonde. It's kind of fuzzy. Like if you're not really, you're distracted, you're kind of on low beta. If you're listening to me a little bit like more, you're on medium beta. If I were to say, hey, I'm going to quiz you guys. You can win a contest and I'm going to quiz you guys right after this. You go, oh shit, I could win a contest. Let me listen. So then you're kind of on medium beta. Okay. So theta is children, or when you meditate, hypnosis. You know, when you're kind of like daydreaming, you know, you're at work and you're like for a minute you snap. That's theta brainwaves. When you wake up in the morning before you had your coffee, that's theta. You're like waking up and you're like, delta brainwaves, sleeping. Gamma brainwaves are very high frequency and they're not really, they don't last a long time. So either when you do these extreme meditations or you're playing sports and stuff like that, or you're really excited, like with your group of friends and you start laughing and you're hysterically laughing, like, you know, when you have shivers in your body, you're that's gamma brainwaves. But gamma doesn't last long. It's not consistent. And gamma brainwaves are like high frequency. Now, theta brainwaves, which is meditation, all that is low frequency, very calm, low frequency. Now, here's the thing. When you're two people and you get triggered, so let's say I'm on beta right now, and I trigger you. Right now, I trigger you. Or you're with somebody, you get triggered. Your brain waves will go to high beta. Immediate high beta. So they're like this, low, and then you go, oh, I'm going to get quizzed. Okay. And then, and that's a state of anxiety. But there's good anxiety and like crappy anxiety. Okay. So if you're sitting there, I don't believe that the world is shifting to a higher vibrational frequency. I don't believe that. I know that is a belief that some people are saying. I actually don't believe that. I know I'm one of the rare people. I think it's a shifting to a higher consciousness, higher state of consciousness. But I don't believe the higher vibrational frequency, because if you know about science, it does not make sense. It doesn't make sense because the earth and theta and meditation and all this stuff is low frequency. Inner peace, you know, when you're in very, very, very low and you're very peaceful, you're in theta brainwaves. The theta brainwaves. Now, I do believe that we're raising our consciousness. So we're becoming way more aware. We're enlightenment, authenticity, energy, frequency, vibrations, all of this stuff. But I think this whole high frequency is very similar to the God, Jesus of heaven. We're ascending to heaven. We're going to heaven. Do not go to hell, low vibration. We have to raise our frequency. And when we start thinking in that terms and we start going into this, we're now saying, so anybody that's low frequency, you're going to go, oh, you're low frequency. I can't be around you. I can't do anything low frequency, which is causing division. And when you finally understand that all vibrations, too low, very toxic, very, very toxic, very dangerous. When you're too low, and when you jump from high to low is very dangerous too. That's what causes diseases. It causes everything. Heaven is a man-made concept. So is trying to be high vibrational frequency all the time. Nobody can live in gamma brainwaves all day. We would have anxiety attacks completely, right? It's all beliefs. But I could be wrong. But this is just my opinion because I'm on my live. So if you join my live, this is my opinion, but I don't shame anybody. And I used to live only high frequency, positive, law of attraction, The Secret, you raise your frequency. And I crashed and I felt like shit. Every time I would try to raise my frequency, I would go through dark night of the soul every 2 months because this is too much. And I learned that it's really beautiful. Low frequencies, when I cry with peace. When I'm angry with peace. When I go outside on the low frequency of the 7.8 hertz of the earth, I love the earth. It's a low frequency, the earth. Everything is in balance, loving, inner peace, everything. So it's not about being positive, happy, high vibration, which is good. It's fine. You have to understand, high vibration is when you're reaching these gamma brainwaves and people have visions of like spirits and things like that. That's okay. You can be high frequency when you die. Like when your soul is just out of your body, there's no emotion. You're just this like consciousness, which is a belief. Again, I'm just telling you my belief. But anyway, so here it is. We're not built for gamma for long periods. Exactly, Christy. Now, here's what I wanted to say before we talked about this high-low. Now, somebody asked me, how do you get triggered? Like when you're triggered with two people and you go into high beta brainwaves. I want you guys to, how do you hire your free, I could tell you in a second, Timmy time. I'm just going to finish my train of thought before I say that. So if you go into high beta brainwaves, I want you to see it like a lion about to attack a prey or your dog, like dogs. Let's just say your dog. If your dog sees another dog and they're both aggressive. Have you ever seen two dogs looking at each other and they're not losing eye contact and they're growling? If you put your hand, whether it's a Chihuahua or a Pit Bull or even a beautiful golden retriever that's calm and docile, if a golden retriever is growling at another dog and you put your hand just right away, because high beta brainwaves is fight or flight response. It's you're trying to protect yourself. Something's happening. Something's wrong. A bear is going to attack you. So back in the day, our high beta brainwaves was to tell us that a bear is coming, the enemy, the this, the that, a storm. Like we get on survival. So high beta brainwave is survival. Do you know when we're on high beta brainwaves? When you're playing sports, high contact sports is when you're on high beta. Now here's the problem. Most of society is on high beta. Like you go to sleep, you wake up and you're like, and you're constant high beta. Like anxiety all the time. A lot of people are living like that. So imagine you have two people that you're pretty cool, you're having a good time, and then somebody comes in with high beta brainwaves and was like, well, I don't think this is right. And you're like, what are you saying? Well, I'm going to leave. No, don't leave. Fear of abandonment shows up. Oh, well, fine, leave. I don't care. And then your high beta brainwaves. Yeah, so sports, exactly. Sports are fun. High beta is not bad. High beta brainwaves of anxiety is not bad. It's trying to save you. It's trying to protect you. You can use, I think I have something on my teeth. You can use high beta brainwaves to do sports. You can do all this stuff. So it's not bad. We see it as bad. We see anxiety as bad is because we have too much anxiety. If you have a glass of wine, not so bad. If you have 10 bottles of wine, you may not feel so good. You may feel good temporarily. But try doing that all day for 2, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. At one point, your liver's shot, your whole world is like, everything is crappy. Okay. So it's not bad to be on high beta. Is we have to learn how to respond. And we don't know, most of the population, we don't know how to respond. So we look at each other. Now think of a dog. Okay. Now here's how to, have you ever watched Cesar Millan? Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, and the dog is like, do you know what he does? He goes like this with the neck. He goes, and the dog goes like this. And then he calms and the dog, and he brings sounds and he brings stuff like that. And he's like deflecting to the dog. He's bringing the dog back to the now. So imagine ourselves, our animal instincts that is trying to protect us. So when you are angry, and you look at someone, you're like, and you're getting furious over anything, a friend, a partner, your kids, whatever it is, you're getting this and you feel it. It's not 0 to 100. Nobody goes from 0 to 100. We go from 0 to 10 and then from 10 to 100. So 0 to 10, you have to recognize your 0 to 10. And that's how you know how to calm your brain waves. If you recognize your 0 to 10, when you're like, that feeling, you're like, fight or flight. I'm going to fucking either beat your ass. And there's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Either you fight the person, you're in shock. Like freeze, you're like, is this a fucking joke? Are you fucking kidding me right now? No, I just, you know that freeze? Fawn is somebody who's like, you're a fucking piece of shit. And you're like, sure. No, it's my fault. No, I get it. It's my fault. No, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Fawn is agreeing. It's all these things are trying to protect you. So you have to say, okay, my anger right now is trying to protect me from an emotional response, because there's no bears. There's no bears that are going to hurt you. There's no wolves trying to attack you. Your emotions right now are trying to protect you because of a past shit that happened. So when you go all of a sudden and you're responding and you're like, oh shit, I'm triggered. How to bring down the brain waves. And there's the first key is you cannot just go now. Oh, by the way, some people, it's going to trigger some people. Do you know the fawn response when you're like, okay, that's the same as I'm going to be positive and I don't like your energy right now and you're low frequency and I'm being passive aggressive and I'm not going to respond and I'm not going to acknowledge that I'm also triggered. I'm going to suppress all my triggered feelings and I'm going to put them on you and say that you're negative. You're bad. You're toxic. Ooh. And I'm going to suppress everything and not deal with my emotions. So I'm not going to talk about them. I'm not going to feel them. I'm going to push them down from my conscious mind to my subconscious, deep down into my soul. And they will pop out in 3 months from now with someone else it's not you, because I'm not dealing with it. But after a few times of suppressing, it's going to totally lash out on someone randomly. All right, I'll do that. That's what you're saying to yourself when you take your brainwaves and just, and that's the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. So that's more of the fawn response of saying, no, I'm going to raise my frequency and I'm going to be, every single one of us, every human being on earth has sad and anger emotions. It doesn't matter what gender you are, where you come from. Every human, that is one thing that we all have. We feel them differently. We all feel them. We react differently. Some people master at just staying silent, and they're the master cutter off. They'll walk away. Some people, fuck you, yeah, like some people are very reactive. So the key for your brain waves to get them down from high beta to medium beta and low beta, you can't get them down to theta right away because that's suppressing, is you can say, I feel powerless. Not out loud. Say it to yourself. I'm scared. I'm angry. I'm hurt. Whatever you're feeling, you say it in yourself. You don't have to tell the other person because some people are really mean. They don't need to, but you can say, I need a moment. And you can take 10 minutes. You just need a moment. Say, I just need a moment. And you could either turn away or go into another room real quick. And what you're going to do is use your senses. Use your senses. And I know some people are like, what the fuck does that mean? Your senses, we have a lot of senses. You have a sense of direction. We have so many senses, but the 5 basic senses, 6 senses, your basic senses. So the first thing that I like to do is listen. Now, sometimes when you're in a busy area, you have to hyper tune on one person. So if you're really stressed out and you're in public and you're having anxiety and you're totally triggered by somebody and you're like, oh my God, what do I hear? I hear cars. Like, I'm not talking about use your senses, like whatever. No, full blown, like to their full potential, because you have full potential of your senses, and your senses control your perceptions. Senses control your perceptions of reality. So you start using your senses. So you can start tasting. Like, take a breath. Okay. Right now, let go. Exhale out of your mouth. And taste. Thank you, Christy. So taste. And you're like, I just brushed my teeth not long ago, so I taste mint. You can taste garlic, onions, whatever you ate, hummus, whatever it is. And okay. So now your awareness is not on your trigger, is not on anything. And when you reduce down to beta, now you could think about, wow, why am I triggered? What brought that shit up? That's probably from, maybe my dad or my mom when I was young. Yeah, I felt the same way. Now you're calmer. Because what we try to do is when you're on high frequency, you're like, I feel like this. And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. Well, you better talk about it. I feel like, and all of a sudden you can't, do you know, this is a fact. You cannot understand someone else's perception on high beta. We can't do it. So I have proof. So I was with someone, listen to this. So I was with my boyfriend, this was last year, and we were shopping at the supermarket. And my boyfriend got really upset over something, like had nothing to do with me. He was really upset about something about work. And he was like talking in his head and he was like, blah, 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 blah. And while he was talking, I looked at him and I went, babe, you look really good. Like your shoulders are really like, you've been working out. You look really, he's like, no, I don't look good. I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, and as soon as he did that, I realized, I was like, it doesn't matter what I say. When you're in high beta brainwaves, when you are in the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response, it doesn't matter what people say. It's like, it's just fight. It's like your survival. So if you're in survival, okay, so there's a bear that shows up in front of you, or a snake or a wolf, whatever you're scared of, big freaking cobra snake right in front of you. And somebody's like, wow, you look great. You're like, shut the fuck up. There's a snake. Do you know what I mean? So this is like a physical fear, but an emotional fear is the same thing that happens to you. Exactly the same thing. Thank you, peace. So the same thing is happening with an emotional fear. If you get triggered and then somebody's like, wow, you look sexy, you look great. You're like, shut the fuck up. Because you're just like, your brain is like this. It's like hyper focused on what you're thinking of. So if you're angry at your dad or your mom or your partner or your friend, family member, whoever, your brain in survival and high beta is hyper focused. If you have anxiety about your work, you're hyper focused about your work. It's like this. Like imagine like an arrow pinpointing. So what happens is when you start using your senses, you're opening up and you go from survival to potential. And now you reduce your brain waves down to like low beta, medium beta. It opens up and now you're looking around and you're like, okay, I'm calmer now. Now you can think rationally, because low, like when we do exams and tests, we're on low to medium beta. We're writing exams. So now you're calmer and you can think rational. So if you're with a partner or a friend and you can see that they're like, and you can see they're in fight or flight, you can even tell them, let's talk about this later. Let's talk about this later. Or what if you have kids? By the way, I used to do this with my daughter. My daughter had massive anxiety when she was little. We went through a lot together when I was very, very sick. I had a kidney transplant. I had 6 surgeries and 1 surgery a year after she was born. So she went through a lot of stuff and she had a lot of anxiety. And I used to blame myself. I don't anymore. So what would happen is she would get like these panic attacks when she was little, or she would get angry and I would go, wait, do you hear that? And she's like, no, what? I'm like, listen. She goes, what? She's like, oh, it's just the dog walking. And I'm like, is it? No, it's not the dog. She goes, yes, I hear the dog. I'm like, no, not the dog walking. Further, listen. And she would go, I don't hear it. What, the trees? The wind? And I was like, no. And she goes, so here she is in full panic attack, like, ah! And then now she's going, what am I hearing? And if you guys want to test it out now and you do that, do you know that your brain shuts off when you start listening? When you listen to subtle sounds, even if, let's say you're in a really busy, you get an anxiety, public anxiety, like when you go to the store, there's too many people and everybody's like loud and the music like, and you're like, I want to go back home. Where's COVID? Kind of like we just want to stay home. If ever that happens and you're in a state of anxiety in the public or you're at a party, you don't want to be there, hyper focus, listen. You'll notice that you'll go down, your brain waves start calming down as soon as you listen to one sound, not 100 sounds at once. Listen to one, hyper focus on one sound, your brain shuts off. And you could trick yourself and start doing this with a few people. Can you get into meditation that way? Well, it is a form. So this using your senses is kind of a form of mindful meditation. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have done that. You walk outside, you look 15 past midnight in Germany. Oh, you're in Germany, Kelly? I didn't know that. That's cool. I have lots of family there. Okay, so, and good night. So imagine if you're walking in the forest. Have you ever looked at the trees and you can see the wind, or you look at the clouds and you just look at the clouds passing and you're like, wow, this is really nice. Super nice. You're using your senses. That's all it is, using your senses. So use all your senses. And if you're using the sense of sight and you're looking at something, like listen, I'll give you an example. I've had so many surgeries that my trigger, till this day, it's still like that. It's not like when you heal, everything's fixed in your whole life. You're still going to get an emotional response. I've had so many surgeries, and a lot of the surgeries weren't successful. They really got fucked up, some doctors, whatever. So I went through so much that when somebody says, hey, you need surgery, I'm like, so I went to the dentist and a few years back, and I was grinding my teeth a lot, and it cracked one of my teeth. And they're like, well, we're going to need to remove or like do surgery on your tooth. And as they told me that, it was when the dentist's teeth, he was going like this, and he's like, you're going to need surgery. The word surgery went, and all of a sudden I felt the tears, and I was like, oh my God, I'm having an anxiety attack. Like I just right away. And I couldn't use the sense of hearing because it's like, ee! So I'm like, ah. So I was like, oh, what do? I got to use other senses. Then I tried to use the sense of touch. So I was like, okay, my finger, it wasn't working. I was like, okay, next sense, sight. And I looked, and there was this beautiful painting on the wall with little dots of yellow and red. Look, I remember it now, just to let you know. And then I don't just look at the painting and I'm like, there's yellow and red. Is that bumpy? It's like textured. I think it's textured. And now I'm not thinking about the teeth. I'm not thinking about it. And I'm doing neuroplasticity on my brain because I'm teaching my brain that when it's in fight or flight, fawn or freeze response, that I'm calming it down. And the more you practice this, guys, the more eventually it happens. I went from reactive, completely reactive. Let me tell you, I was a screamer. Since I was little, if I'm angry, I would yell and scream. I was a scapegoat in the family. I had so much shit happen. I was reactive and I hated myself. I went through all that stuff. And now, the more I practice it, that now when something happens, my brain right away goes, Tanya, calm down. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. So I went from extreme reactive to calming down right instantly. And I used to try. Took me about a year to really, every day, I practiced this often. Sometimes I slipped and I'd be yelling. Sometimes I was like, oh, fuck this. And I was like, oh, shit. I did it again. But I tried, and the more I did it, I don't have to do that anymore. Engage my senses when I'm caught up in my head. Exactly, Zara. Try to master that as often as you can, and you're going to start to notice that your perceptions about the world are going to change because you're using your senses. Are perception. That's how we perceive the world, is by using our senses. Smelling. We perceive smell. When you look at something, you're perceiving it with your eyes. When you hear something, you're perceiving it. So we use our senses to perceive the world. So ask yourself, how do you perceive the world? Somebody asked, how do we get out of the matrix? And blah, blah, blah. I was talking about that before. And I'm like, use your senses. And you're going to notice there's going to be so much less fear of like, oh no, how do we get out of the matrix? And it's like all this fear of so many things. You're going to go, okay, you're going to perceive life so differently because you're using them to their full potential all the time. Extremely reactive like a dog with a bone. I still need to learn. So Angelica, the main thing that you can do, we are such dogs. I know we are. So the main thing that you can try to do is as soon as you feel that you're triggered, like this person had an emotional reaction and you got triggered, the first thing that you can do is say, I'm scared. Like that's by validating yourself. Say, I'm scared. Try to state. And now if you have an issue, because a lot of people, actually I should make a video about this. A lot of people have issues with knowing how they feel. Because sometimes I ask my boyfriend, I don't know. Because he's like the macho, whatever. I'm like, how are you feeling? He's like, I don't know, I'm pissed off. I'm like, that's not a feeling. I'm like, the feeling, identify it. He's like, I don't know how. I'm like, isn't it wild? I taught myself how to identify feelings, but most of us don't know. We don't know the difference. Hurt, sad, angry, abandoned, alone, invalidated, no value, not worthy. And I used to think that self-love and self-worth were the same. Not at all. Self-worth is very different than self-love. And I was like, oh, I don't feel worthy. I don't feel valued. Like if I'm not doing anything, if I don't have the right clothes, the right career, the right amount of money, maybe I'm not worth much. If I don't work hard, if I don't work hard every day, I don't have much worth. Like I'm a loser. That's not self-love. That's something different. So there's so many things that we could do. I used to be a patient in a women's trauma program, and that what you're talking about is what we did. Oh, really? I leave my body every time I meditate. Is this normal? Oh, that's nice. Jessica, there's nothing normal when it comes to meditation. Enjoy it. There's so many people that say this. Is this normal? I'm like, meditation is such a profound experience with ourselves. We just enjoy it. Have fun with it. Whatever happens to you. I was scared of my thoughts at one point, but now I'm like, what's new? I'm still scared of feelings. And that's okay. That's okay. There's something in your past that made you scared to feel, because vulnerability is seen as weakness. We live in a society that vulnerability is weak. Now, here's crazy. Look at this. Okay. I froze for a second. Sorry, guys. So here, listen to this. Okay. I thought about this today. If I come on live and I just lost my aunt less than 2 weeks ago, and I talk about my aunt and the death of my aunt, and I start to cry, everybody's going to be very loving. Oh my God, cry. It's fine. You lost somebody. You know, if you're a man, if you're a macho man and you cry when someone dies, that's okay. That's the only reason men could cry. It's the only reason why anybody can cry. So it's okay. But if I came on here and said, I had a fight with my boyfriend. I had a fight with my parents. A lot of comments, it would be 50-50. Some comments would go, I totally feel that. I'm so sorry. I totally get that. And other people go, suck it up. Let it go. What's wrong with you? Why are you talking about that? Why are you bringing this up on the live? Can you deal with this by yourself on your own? It's so funny that we pick and choose as a society what is acceptable as vulnerability, when I believe that there's a lot of strength in vulnerability, and we have to learn how to be vulnerable. Now, not everybody deserves to see everything all the time. I get that. There's a level of boundaries, and if you're an oversharer, I used to overshare. I still kind of do. That's a result of living with an alcoholic and all that there. And that's okay. I don't mind oversharing some stuff, but I've learned throughout my life too. Vulnerability takes courage. Exactly. So, it's 6:30. I have a client at 6:45. So for those of you guys, if you do want to book an appointment, I'm a little booked up for the next month, but I opened some random spots. So I do have random spots if you guys do want to book for anything at all. Oh, that's a good question before I go. Okay, I have 5 minutes. What's the difference between distraction from senses and disassociation? So disassociation is the fight flight freeze response. Okay, so when you disassociate, it's the feeling behind it. When you're using your senses, you're calming your brain waves down and you're getting into a very mindful place. You're trying to be mindful. It's self-loving. It's giving yourself validation and self-love. When you're disassociating, you're literally cutting off whatever's happened. You're like, no, you're disconnecting. So you're taking your feelings and you're not saying, my feelings don't matter, nothing matters. And it's like suppressing, and you're now like, no, I don't want to feel it. So you're literally just pushing everything down to your subconscious. So you'll notice the difference, because one is self-loathing and thinking that it's fight. It's a protection response. People who disassociate, they're trying to protect themselves because they know that if they feel sad, they'll be too sad. Or if they get angry, they'll be too angry. Like everything. Do you do preteen coaching too? Yes, I do, but I do it with parents. So I do the parent with preteens. Anybody under 18, I do with the parent. Okay, guys. So my YouTube channel, yeah. So you can check out tanyabeautycoach.com. I have a whole bunch of free stuff. I have an app. If you guys want, I have meditations, and I have an app that is free and you can get full. I just put a sleeping meditation, and a friend of mine who never does my meditation, she's like, I did your meditation and I passed out before it was done. I was like, nice. I love you guys. I love you too, Angelica. I love all of you. And I will be live. I have a funeral this weekend, so I will be live next Monday. Unless something happens and I could do a random pop in live again, and I'll try to share the live. Check out my website. All the information about me is on tanyabeautycoach.com. My name, tanyabeautycoach.com. And it's a free website, free subscription, free everything. It's like a whole bunch of free content on there. All right. Love you guys. Have a nice afternoon, morning, night, wherever you are. Oh, I'll upload this live to YouTube. Okay. You guys can see it either tonight or tomorrow. All right. So if you missed anything of this, the beta brainwaves and all that, you can go on my YouTube and check it out. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.